Okay, so one of the things that happened during Jodie Whittaker's tenure as the Doctor is we found the fugitive Doctor. Now, this was played by Jo Martin, and she had a really good reception actually. A lot of people quite liked her portrayal of the Doctor, and she popped in and out, for a little while, but eventually she kind of disappeared. Well, they were talking to her in a recent article, and they asked her about returning to Doctor Who, and she said, "Watch this space. You never know what's going to happen." And as a Doctor, you could get the call at any time. So there is a possibility that she could be, in plans by Russell T Davies to return to Doctor Who. And to be honest, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, the whole fugitive Doctor story was a little bit far left. It was a little bit left field, should we say? But I actually thought that Jo Martin's portrayal of the Doctor was actually very good. When you set her up against Jodie Whittaker, she was everything that really Jodie Whittaker wasn't in some ways. She was very charismatic. She was very forceful. She had authority. You could see that she meant business. Whereas Jodie Whittaker at times I felt didn't feel like that. Although she was trying her best, and I think she really was trying her best, she didn't really have the range. And I've said this before. I don't think she had the range to pull off the Doctor. So the fact that Jo Martin could come back into the show, I think is possibly a good thing, because Ncuti Gatwa, we haven't really seen enough of him at the moment to judge one way or the other how good he is in the role. But in the Christmas special, I thought he was okay, but I think the writing a little bit let him down. I think he's not a bad actor at all, but I think the writing let him down a little bit. So it'd be interesting to see in the next series what he's like and how the fugitive Doctor fits into that, and how they combine and work together, because I think that's actually quite good. And it's interesting because Matt Smith was also being interviewed a little while ago, and he was saying how much he loved working on the show and how proud he is of being associated with it. And it's interesting because the other actors who've worked with him said that they were really amazed by his acting, and the fact that he was so on point. He was able to be silly and serious, in the blink of an eye and things like this. And for me, that is what the Doctor should be. I know the Doctor's had various different kind of personality traits depending on who is portraying him or her, but I think that there are certain elements that you need to have, I think, to play the Doctor. One of them, I think, is that ability to turn at a moment's notice from being fun and jovial and maybe a little bit silly to all of a sudden being absolutely stern serious and believable at doing that, because not everyone can pull that off. Not everyone can do both things well. Some actors can't, and I think that Matt Smith was very good at being really silly, really jovial, and then switching and being really serious and really menacing in what he was doing, and he was very good at doing that. I think Peter Capaldi was good at it as well. He perhaps didn't quite nail the silly side of it as much as he did the serious side, but he was good at playing both as well. So that, I think, is what Jo Martin, I think, has a little bit. I think she has that silly side and also very menacing side. We've yet to see whether Ncuti Gatwa has that range as well, although I suspect that he probably will be portraying that at some point. I think I'm sure we'll see both sides of that character at some point in the new series. But it was interesting to see that there was a potential that that the fugitive Doctor might come back, because I think that would be quite a good thing. But of course, it all depends on whether the story is good enough. If the story is good enough to go with it, then that's great. But we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you think. Would you like to see the fugitive Doctor come back again? And if so, in what way would you like the fugitive Doctor to return? Would you like it to be as like a flashback, or would you like them to have a two Doctor episode, as they have done in the past? Let me know down in the comment section what you think.